What's up, guys? And thank you all for joining us for another great edition of Wake Up Uncensored. And today, you all, we are celebrating Black excellence with our guys. I'm gonna allow you guys to introduce yourself.
I'm Mike Clinton, one of the founders of the Redline Hotel Group.
And I'm Kamau Coleman, other co-founder of the Redline Hotel Group.
When we talk about Black excellence, you all are both the co-founders of this historic hotel here on Venice Beach. How did that come about?
So I moved to LA when I was 14 from New York. A good family friend actually owned this property. He bought it in the mid 80s. He's an African American. He was a chiropractor who just recently retired. He was buying real estate here in Venice, the Venice area, and in Santa Monica, and he's held on to these properties literally for decades. There are not very many opportunities, especially for beachside properties, for African Americans to invest in them, and this was an opportunity. He was retiring and said, hey, listen, I would sell to you guys. And so I have known Michael for a couple of decades as business partners and other things, and I asked him if he was interested, and we decided to go for it.
Well, Kamau, let me ask you this. The move from New York to here, was it much of a difference for you? Or was it something that you were like, I'm a hustler, I can handle it, and I can go from there?
I had no part in the decision because Mom made the decision that we were coming here. So
got
for me,
you.
I just got to ride along and make it happen, right? So,
okay, yeah. Got you. Family move.
Yeah, so for me it was easy. It's just about adapting.
Got you. What about you, Michael?
What's the question?
Sure. Coming from, let me back up some.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
There we go. From Baltimore, Maryland. All right,
in
DMV
the
in the
house,
house, right?
Yep.
So coming from Baltimore to California, what was that transition like for you?
Oh man. Actually, you know what? It wasn't as bad as you would think. Baltimore is very different than Los Angeles. But I left Baltimore at 18.
Okay.
I went from there to Duke University. Duke was the beginning of, I would say, my matriculation into like everything that's not Baltimore, right? But when I left Baltimore, I had never even been to a nightclub that played anything else other than Baltimore club music. Mm-hmm. So can you imagine walking into your first party and they playing hip hop, which to me was something you listen to on the radio. So the whole party is moving in slow motion to me. And that was really an analogy for like almost my entire life for the beginning of leaving Baltimore. Everything was just at a completely different pace. Rather it was too fast for me academically or it was too slow for me socially.
Okay.
When it comes to, as we celebrate Black excellence, Venice is rich in Black culture. So I would assume that you guys purposely chose this location. Would you say that it's to celebrate our culture and our people and like what we bring to the table?
The answer is we didn't seek this out because it was a Black community. That was something that we discovered, and it's part of why we ended up doing the hotel with this theme. It was an opportunity. He and I are real estate investors. It was an opportunity for us to buy a piece of real estate that had a fantastic location. Once we decided that we wanted to go after a hospitality play, then we needed to know what was the theme, what was the concept, right? We're not going to take a small property like this and make it into a Marriott, right? So we needed to come up with a concept. We could have, the obvious thing would have been a beachy, idea like that, but this was the intentionality, was we knew that because I lived here since I was 14, we knew that this was an area that had rich Black history, but I didn't know where it came from. Mike didn't know where it came from. And so it was a question to figure out where it came from. And in doing that research, we found out how deep and broad the history was. And we said, well, then we have to be authentic about what this is going to be. And we wanted to bring that history to light. So that's really where it came from.
Kamau, speaking about authenticity, what were some of the hurdles that you and Michael faced getting everything, I guess, established outside of the regular beach theme? and really projecting as to what you both envision this property should stand for?
Well, look, developing real estate is always about it's taking resources, looking at resources, and deciding how do you apply them. So capital is always a struggle in development. Okay. So you got to put borders around. So we definitely need a toilet. Do we definitely need the particular mirror or lighting? I don't know. So it's always trade-offs. So what we did was very, as carefully as we could, try and match our vision with the capital and the resources that we had. And realistically, I mean, we've had to go step by step and be raising capital while we were executing on the vision. So it hasn't been something that was fully formed from the beginning. It's really been about collaboration and discovery of our entire team, and then figuring out how do we apply those resources to kind of our overall vision.
Okay. You want to add something?
Well, all I was going to I realized I stopped kind of in the middle of the answer to the last question, which was Baltimore to Los Angeles. After getting to undergrad and realizing kind of the differences between Baltimore and school and academia, coming to LA has actually been pretty refreshing, right? First of all, y'all know the weather is head and shoulders better, right? So, recognizing that you don't necessarily have to deal with winter, like winter is a choice. That is a big deal, right? One of the things I tell people back home is getting those 3-4 months back of your life of winter, when you multiply that over a lifetime, it's huge, right? And so I think the other big difference between not just Baltimore, but East Coast and the West Coast is when you move in Los Angeles, everybody looks like they're on vacation all the time.
I agree.
You wonder, how are these people making money, right? Because the idea of kind of getting up and going to a 9-to-5, while I know that exists, it seems to exist more sporadically. And so, keeping with you all's theme in terms of knowing that Black people can be more and do more, LA was major in helping me think differently about what wealth looked like, what making money looked like, what spending your time looked like. This idea that you got to go into an office and sit there for 8 hours and then come home and earn a paycheck. And I mean, LA was transformative in terms of my view on how you can actually function in the world, right? It's very different than how my parents both work for Baltimore City Public School System, worked 9-to-5. My mom retired making $28,000 a year after 30 years of working. LA will it will just turn you around completely and motivate you and inspire you when you're going down Rodeo. I mean, these kind of houses are not things that we just see, in the DMV, right?
Yeah.
And so it just becomes, unless you see it, you really cannot become it, or you don't even know that it exists, or to try to obtain it. So I think that's just a major thing that people need to understand. Whether you're in Baltimore or Detroit or Atlanta or whatever, get out of that place, travel, see what other things are out there, how other people are moving, how other cultures are moving, because that's where you might actually find your lane. And I think Kamau and I have found our lane here in Venice.
And that's excellent that you brought that to cohesion just now, because when I came here and was traveling and was working, you're right, coming from the DMV, I was like, why are they moving so slow? Either I'm driving and I'm like, oh, is it me? I'm like, trying to get where I gotta go. But I'm like, you know what? When in Rome, chill.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
And it feels different, as you just said, though, the hustle, nothing changed. I'm still ambitious. We're still getting work done. But I see how I'm moving differently on the West Coast versus when I go back to the East Coast. New York, on, Baltimore, on.
Yeah.
But it's different here. And I don't see where there's a lot of, maybe it's undercover, a lot of stressors, and everybody just seems a bit more laxed, but everybody does seem focused. Like they got something in mind, they got somewhere to go, they're doing something, they're working on something, but the stress factor is way different here. And I was like, is it the sunshine? I don't know what it is. Is it the waves? Is it the food? The food tastes better here. So I'm like, what could it be?
Yeah, I think it's all of that.
When you said winter is optional,
That
I was
that
like,
hit me hard.
you know
how
what?
it
Because
is
how
back
many
home.
times are we tired of shoveling snow and the ice on the ground or throwing the
Yeah.
salt? It's just like,
Or rain. I forget that it rains.
really?
Right, because in California, it's
I see it on television. I was like, oh, it's been raining for 3 weeks.
It doesn't exist.
And y'all got flooding.
Yeah,
and
we
all
do.
kind of stuff.
We got a lot
Until
more
I
to
see
it.
it on the news, I forget. When we plan things here, we don't factor the weather at all. We just assume that it's going to be nice, and if it's not, then we adjust. But it rarely happens, and so it's a wonderful thing.
I want to piggyback off of just the whole DMV Baltimore area conversation. I've noticed since my first time coming to LA that when I go back home, people are like, well, what's in LA? You know, like, what's in LA that's not here in DC? And my response is, you got to get up and you got to think out of your comfort zone. You got to get out your comfort zone. Just explore, you know, go somewhere else, you know, do different things. But a lot of people in DC, or I'm not going to say a lot, I'll say select few in DC, are afraid to do that. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, people in Baltimore won't even go to DC. It's like a whole different world. You know, it's like it's 40 minutes down the street, and you would think that you were asking them to go to Florida or something, right? For whatever reason, people just kind of stay in like you said, in their comfort zone and in their box. I think people in DC are a bit more open to traveling and, you know, much more sophisticated and probably have more disposable income and those kind of things. But generally, I think the U.S. in general, we tend to grow up and stay where we grew up, generally, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to in Europe, right? When you live in Spain, but Germany is right next door, or Italy's right, they do these things the way we kind of do it with states. I don't necessarily know the why, but I agree with you fully that that's definitely how it is.
Yeah. And something you guys said earlier, when starting this establishment, you have to look for investors and partnerships. What would you say has been the biggest challenge as it pertains to finding an investor? What is your biggest, I guess, selling point and the biggest hurdle that you had to go through?
Listen, in investing, especially in early stage, whether it's a real estate development or business in general, there has to be sort of an alignment of vision, right? You have to believe in me as the entrepreneur, as a founder, as a visionary, in order for you to put that money in. Sometimes some cultures are more, I think, collaborative and more accustomed to investing in concepts and businesses. Mm-hmm. In our community, it has traditionally not been a thing, whether that be from capital constraints or from just the way that our community has been. It definitely has been a struggle. So we started off where a lot of folks do, which is who knows us best? It's friends and family. And we've leaned heavily on friends and family and hope that friends and family would introduce us to other people that were interested, that were like-minded as well. So for us, it's really finding someone who can understand that vision and then also trust us to be able to execute it.
I kind of have a long-winded answer to this, so y'all got to.
Take your time. Take your time.
Right.
I like to tell this story about Kanye West, right? Kanye West is a genius, right? He comes up with good clothes. He's a musical genius. He's, he wants to be Louis Vuitton, right, or Armani, right? He threw millions of dollars. There's this famous interview he had with Sway, right? And he's trying to figure out how and why he can't be Louis Vuitton, why he can't blow up, right? No matter how much money, how many followers he has, all of these kind of things. The reason he can't is because he can't invent or create pedigree, right? He can't go back to 1912 and create anything, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at Louis Vuittons, Armani's, and Breitlings, and these luxury, they started at a time where it was illegal for us to own businesses, illegal for us to read and write. Yes. So, how in the world, when you look at the S&P 500, or 99% of the stock market is owned by white people, it's only been 40 or 50 years since we were allowed to start businesses. So of course, if we're just now getting to a place where we have anything, we're not taking risk on each other, right? We're just trying to hold on to what we got. And the reality is, the stock market is designed for companies to raise money. They are raising money from the public every single day. And so as developers and entrepreneurs, I have just had to really recently shift my mentality to realize that I have to always be raising.
Yeah.
I have to always be raising money the same way that AT&T and Microsoft and all of them are always raising money to redeploy, to grow. If we don't have access from the beginning, it's very hard to start anything, to go anywhere. You start with your kind of friends and family, people who know you and where you come from, right? I went from Baltimore to Baldwin Hills, right? That doesn't happen by accident, right? So whatever it took to get there, the people who know me personally know that, oh, okay, on top of that, he has a hotel in Venice, or he has a hotel in Mississippi, or he has a hotel in Alabama. He's done this, this, and this. And then they may be more inclined to invest whatever they want, right? But even if they wanted to, they don't have it. They legit don't have the money to, because they're just trying to keep the lights on and pay their mortgages. And this is all about institutional racism. All goes back to redlining as the most expensive discriminatory practice in the history of the world, much less the United States. It has cost us billions of dollars in net worth. And if we don't have it, how can we invest in each other to grow? And I don't blame anybody, right?
Yeah.
The situation was thrust upon us. That's where we are. That's how it goes. So yes, it's difficult to find investors. This crowdfunding thing that we're about to do makes it easier, right? Because you can go to the public and people can do smaller amounts of money, as opposed to the world that Kamau and I come from are $20 million, $40 million, $50 million deals. You're going to institutional investors, pension funds, and these kind of places, large, well-established institutions who have millions of dollars to invest. This is finally an opportunity, and crowdfunding has created an opportunity for us to support us in those ways. And I've been toting and trying to explain to Black people in particular for a long time, just to get involved in commercial real estate one way or another, right? The most you might get is they own their house if they're lucky, right? That is certainly the beginning of building generational wealth. But
Yes.
when you look at as many personal financial statements as come out I've seen, the vast majority of them, the wealth is in their real estate. Whether it's their house, whether it's their businesses, their owns real estate, the vast majority of it over and over. So when I got into the business, I went to a classic rich dad, poor dad mentality and strategy, right? I spend my time chasing assets with the hope that the assets will eventually cover my lifestyle and give me something to pass down to my kids. And so it is difficult, it is doable, we are making it more accessible, but the reality is we are all victims of something that has just happened to us, right? From slavery to Jim Crow to civil rights to now, and then we got all this Trump stuff, don't even get me started, where there's this concerted effort to make America great again, bring America back to where we were before. And so the whole Redline movement, because we're at the beginning of a movement, is really designed to get the community galvanized around something. Whether it's your own something or it's ours, just get involved in whatever it is. And if we can help you, we will.
Okay, Mike. So I really appreciate what you mentioned about real estate, because in Black and brown communities, I feel as though there's a lack thereof as it pertains to financial literacy. And myself included, I didn't realize why owning property is so important. So I just want to say I really appreciate that, and that was inspiration and advice that I'm gonna take and apply to my own life. I want to ask you both. We know that the Redline is making a difference in the local community. What do you guys hope that it does as a cultural hub?
Look, this is a big dream, and this is where Michael and I really cross over. He mentioned before that the Redline is a movement, and we feel that. It's not a movement with just he and I or our team. It has to be a movement that is across our community and our culture. And when I say that, I'm talking about across the country. Redlining And the Redline concept is unique, it's bold, it's sticky, and that's because it's authentic and because it's needed. And our big dream is that wherever there's that pain, and specifically where we come from is in terms of real estate and investment, wherever there's the pain of our previous exclusion, we want to be a leader, and we want to shine a light on the fact that you can invest. You can also help to support this community. You can be a part of telling our stories and our history. You can join our movement. It's not our movement. It's a movement that requires the community to be a part of it. But we at least we stumbled upon it, and we have the vision, and we want everyone to join us.
Marvelous. And answering that question too, what are some events or activities that you either have or for the future will put together for the community?
Well, look, so you can look around the walls and you can see artwork that represents us and all of that, right? That's us talking about the history, telling the past. But a big piece of this is being current and a part of the future. So for example, here, 3 of the suites tell our history from a time perspective. One of them, which is the canvas, is specifically about being a blank place for the community and for the future. So we have an artist in residence program that occurs here at least biannually, where we choose with our an agency, a black agency that we've partnered with. They will choose local artists, and those artists come, they hang out with us, and they create based on what they're inspired. So it helps us to remain relevant today and in the future. That's something that's an element that will be a part of every Redline that there is. So imagine we go into a community in Baltimore, those local artists and those creatives are the people that we engage with there. If we're talking about New York, where I'm from, same exact thing. So there's an element of us telling our history and inspiring from the past. There's also an element of being tied in to the future as well. And so that's a constantly evolving piece.
Marvelous, thank you.
Is that what you all want the legacy to be?
What specifically?
As it pertains to the Redline, what do you want people to know the Redline for, to remember? What do you want its legacy to be?
To me, the Redline is about, it's celebrating where black people, brown people, minority people have contributed, and we haven't been known for those contributions. Nobody thinks about Venice Beach and thinks about the black and brown folks who helped to not just start it, but also have rebirthed it. We don't think about that. Most people, even me living here the bulk of my life, I didn't know where it came from. And so I think the legacy is we want to be there in terms of uncovering the positive, all the positives. We want to be there to tell the negative pieces of it that our people continually overcome. So to me, my hope is that it's a platform where we're able to inspire other people in talking about our past and our future.
I think that people should understand that we're doing something new and different. So you can stay in a hotel, right, or you can visit a museum. There is a concept out there called the Museum 21C. It's a hotel that has an art gallery in it, right? Here, the rooms, the apartments, the units are the art gallery. And the art that we're talking about, right, tells the story of black and brown contributions to the history of that location. So when we say you can stay in history, you can stay in art, we mean it literally, and from a new experiential, perspective that is not being done anywhere else. And so it's not just that it's, black and brown, whatever history we were talking about would be cool, but the fact that it's also for the culture, just on top of all of that, and some place that you already want to visit, like Venice or Santa Monica or Baltimore or Atlanta, right? Or the National Harbor, that just makes it's just a triple threat in a way that people have not seen, in a way that I think people will be excited about once they learn what we're doing. And I think people will invest in, whether that's investing dollars, whether that's just investing follows and commenting and interacting with us and engaging with us, whether you're gonna buy, we're gonna be launching our hoodies and our hats and all that kind of good stuff. Like however you wanna get involved and contribute, like we here for it.
Speaking of contribute and also having assets, when it comes to your team, what was it like putting your team together? You two may have had a working relationship that surpasses anything else, but the rest of your team, what was it like?
All of the team has come from our relationships, our personal. So there's, of the four of us that are here, plus our investors, it's all friends and family.
Okay.
So it really has been about who believes in it, who has the capacity to get involved. And so it hasn't been like we didn't have the money to go and pick the best in the best marketing or this or that. We've had to leverage our relationships, which again brings it back to the fact that it really is about a community effort.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
I appreciate that it is about community. Us coming here and being, younger Black men, and coming into this establishment has really been an inspiration for us, because oftentimes we don't know where to go to seek that inspiration. We don't always see it in our elders. So I just want to say personally, we appreciate it, because coming here has been a true experience. And when we out and about, people like where you guys stand at, we say the Redline Venice, mm-hmm. and it's really important for us to spread that word, because you guys are making a cultural impact. There is a Black or brown boy somewhere who may not have the inspiration, may not have the guidance, but to know that entities such as these exist could give them hope for tomorrow. So we want to say collectively, not only do we thank you, but we appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And we welcome you guys back at any time. And is there anything that you all would like to leave with the community as we exit?
Yeah, I love the fact that you called him your elder. That's what
I was going to say that because I looked over. I was like,
not in this.
Let me tell you why. He's quick to be like, yeah, Kamau's a little older than I am.
So I kind of like looked at Michael and Kamau, and I was like, elder. I was like, wait, why would you say that? But elder, I was like, well, wait, we're going to clean that one up.
I'm good with
please.
It. Look, I have realized that I am much older than I feel on the inside. Painfully sometimes, but it is what it is. All good. I just turned 48. August 10th. Mm-hmm. Went to Steak 48 to celebrate my 48, mm-hmm. and I'm excited, man. I feel young. We feel good, and this is just the beginning. You guys are at the beginning of what's going to be an incredible ride, an incredible journey, and hopefully, the audience will join us.
Yeah, and in seriousness, what has been an inspiration and lets us know that we're doing something that's right is the fact that guys like you have sought us out and see what we're doing. No, I mean, really, a year ago, people weren't coming and saying, hey, we see what you're doing, we're interested, we want to understand more, we want to get involved. We have people dropping by out of the blue going, I'd love to, it's really mind-blowing. We really appreciate the fact that you guys have reached out and given us a platform that we could talk.
Of course.
You're welcome. I wanted to also make mention that one, I'm so very honored and I'm proud of you both, because you're showing the other generations, whether it's younger, older, seasoned, elder, whatever, doesn't matter. It's possible, and it's possible not only as a general statement, but it's possible to do it with whether it's the people or whether it's your family or your chosen family. Whether you're Black, brown, Native American, doesn't matter. It's possible. Yeah. Whether you're in Baltimore, like you were saying, Michael, whether you're in New York, doesn't matter where you are. If you truly believe it, you and the collective, and 2 people may believe it, 3, then 4, it can get done. Yeah. No matter what, be relentless in whatever you do, but also have that state of mind to where as though you know that you are continuously learning is my thing. It's just like you get around people, and if you believe you know everything, then how are you ever coachable, teachable?
Yeah.
And I believe with this establishment, as Michael said, the way you are all on your trajectory up, and you're having people come in, and like you said, you're having mind blowing. This is the beginning.
Yeah.
So 5 years from now, what do you expect?
I can only imagine. I mean,
See, and that's the beautiful part. It's like, if I can't fathom it, I want it.
yeah.
Pretty much. Thank you for that. Thank you both for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Showing me what's possible.
Appreciate it.
We
Continuously.
appreciate y'all so much.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
And we out, y'all. We out.
Cool.